This video is about a very important thing. This is that thing which defines which country will progress and which will be left behind. Every year, many people ask this question that will America now end? Some people ask this question with worry, and some people ask with a lot of excitement. But all these people are ignoring a very basic thing. There is one factor in this world. There is one such thing which decides which nation will progress and which will always remain poor. Which societies will be strong and which will always remain unstable. Very few people know about this concept, which has been deciding the fate of civilizations for thousands of years. This thing is not an ideology, nor intelligence, nor technology. The most important and deciding factor in making the fate of nations is geography. That land which is under your feet, those rivers, mountains, plains, and seas which you did not choose, but you were born there. Whatever is happening today in the world, why is Africa still poor? Why are some countries always trapped in wars and conflicts? All these things ultimately connect to one thing, and that is geography. If you understand geography as the real reason of progress, then the story of human history starts to look completely different to you. You start to see patterns instead of random events. You begin to understand why some regions moved ahead in the race of development from the beginning while others kept struggling for centuries. To understand this concept, we have to go back into history. Imagine history like a strategy game where the land you got in the start is what determines your future. Humans first appeared in East Africa and slowly spread around the whole world. In thousands of years, they settled in 6 special areas, which later became the great civilizations of the world. These places were not chosen by coincidence. These places had water, food, protection, and mobility, everything that was a dream in that era. And these 6 areas were Olmec region in Mexico, North Chico and Inca region in Peru, River Nile in Egypt, Mesopotamia in Iraq, Indus Valley areas in today's India and Pakistan, and the Yellow River Basin in China. These were the places where the first cities were built. Reading and writing started, governments formed, and human population increased. Behind the success of these civilizations was not culture or technology, but geography. Because if you want your society to survive for thousands of years, what would you need? You would need sweet/fresh water because no population can live without water. You need fertile land which can produce food continuously. You need natural protection such as mountains, desert, or sea, which can protect from enemies. And you need easy transportation like long and calm rivers so that goods can move easily. Now, just look at Egypt's River Nile. All these qualities are present in IT. It seems as if nature itself chose Egypt and gave it everything needed for a society. The pyramids of Egypt were not a coincidence. They were the result of stability, food, and security. Egypt progressed because of 3 things. First thing, River Nile was the most predictable river of that time. It overflowed calmly and on time, from which farmers got fertile soil every year. This river made Egypt capable of feeding millions of people easily. Second thing, this river was a natural highway. Because of it, all of Egypt was connected from south below to north up till the Mediterranean Sea. Boats could go north with the flow of water and could come back south with the wind. And other ancient civilization had such an easy and efficient transport system. Moving goods, people, and ideas became very easy. And the third thing, the whole area around Nile was surrounded by desert. It was like a natural wall. Attacking Egypt meant crossing miles of burning desert. Very few armies could survive such a journey. With food, security, and transportation all in its favor, Egypt enjoyed stability that no one else got. It remained one of the top civilizations of the world for about 3,300 years, and then finally, its downfall started. This is the power of geography. It gives some nations a head start from the beginning. As centuries passed, the population of the world increased. In the beginning of Common Era, there were only 200 million people in the world. By the year 1500, this number became 500 million. By 1800, the world's population became 1 billion. Then the speed increased. In 1945, right after World War II, there were 3 billion people, and today the world population is more than 8 billion. As people increased, competition also increased. Societies started clashing with each other. Borders were pushed, broken, expanded, and sometimes rebuilt every few decades. Europe became a constant battlefield where kingdoms clashed again and again. Dynasties rose, fell, and rose again in China. Japan was sometimes in peace and sometimes in war. Africa continuously became a victim of instability and chaos. Then till 1900, everything changed. Technology changed the world. Railways, steamships, telegraphs, airplanes, machine guns, and finally nuclear weapons showed what the world could do and how dangerous it was. The world had now become a global village, and power relied less on armies marching in open fields and more on industry, technology, and resources. After 2 world wars, almost no big country expanded its borders by force. Nuclear weapons made attack very risky. Because of Air Force, natural blockers like mountains, deserts, or seas became very easy to cross. The world map started becoming fixed. Those borders which formed after 1945 mostly stayed the same, and in this new peaceful global system, the countries with the strongest geography were the ones that developed. The Vino country gained more from this change than America. Its location, rivers, coasts, and natural defense gave it such a huge head start that no one in the modern world has gotten such an advantage. In reality, America sits on the most valuable piece of land in the world, and this is not bias or point scoring. This is a simple fact. When the Ice Age ended, the huge glaciers in North America melted and formed natural harbors. These harbors were ideal for global trade. Europe also got many such harbors, and that is why European nations controlled world trade for centuries. But North America got much more advantage because its coastline was very long. America's eastern coast is full of deep water ports. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charleston, and many more ports. Because of these ports, big sea ships can come very close to land, unload goods, and go back quickly. Europe also had good ports, but America's coastline was ideal and easier to defend and connect to the country's interior. But America's real treasure is not its coastline, but what lies in its center, the Mississippi River Basin. The Mississippi River Basin is America's biggest advantage. Here is the most fertile soil in the world and the most navigable rivers compared to anywhere else. This means boats can travel thousands of miles inside America and bring grain, wood, coal, and other goods cheaply. This river system in the center of America is perfect. It is wide, deep, calm, and naturally designed for transport. These rivers are like huge highways made for free by nature. The Mississippi River flows into the Gulf of Mexico, and from there goes to the Atlantic Ocean, so goods from the center of America can reach the sea easily and cheaply, and from there to the rest of the world. This is the reason America can sustain itself better than the rest of the world. This is the reason America became an export giant and became rich faster than other countries. And then the biggest real estate deal of human history happened here. The Louisiana Purchase that in 1803, Thomas Jefferson bought the whole Mississippi Basin from France, which at today's value costs about $340 million, and today this land is worth at least $60 trillion. This one deal changed the fate of America. Because when you have such fertile land, perfect rivers, 2 oceans protecting you, and lots of deep water ports, then no other country can compete with you. This is why America became the most dominant power of the modern world. Its geography gave it the head start that no other country had. Now, come to the other big regions of the world which should have become rich like America. See, every country wants to rise, grow, and dominate. But not all can do that because they did not get ideal geography. Take China's example, which looks very strong on the map, but its geography keeps it under pressure. China has access to only one large sea, and that too is partially blocked by neighbors like Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, and Vietnam. These places create natural choke points which China cannot control. 80% of China's oil passes through the narrow Strait of Malacca. This small sea route can be blocked by any enemy anytime. One blockade can paralyze China's energy supply and entire economy. This is why China is spending billions of dollars to build new routes toward the Indian Ocean. It is building highways and pipelines through Pakistan, transport routes through Myanmar, and rail networks in Central Asia. If we talk about Russia, Russia is the biggest country in the world, but faces the most geographic challenges. First, its western border is very wide, flat, and open. There is no natural obstacle there. This is why Napoleon in 1812 and Hitler's armies in 1941 reached straight to Moscow. Second, Russia has almost no warm water ports. Most of its ports freeze in winter. Without warm water ports, Russia cannot trade easily. This is why Russia was so active in Crimea and Syria. It needed access to warm seas. If we talk about Britain, then for hundreds of years it ruled the world. Geography gave it big advantage. Being an island, it was always safe from enemies, and it had 360 degrees access to seas, which gave it the chance to build the biggest navy of its time. That navy then spread British control across the world. But then with the arrival of jets, everything changed. During World War II, German jets reached London in just 30 minutes. The English Channel, which once was Britain's biggest defense, became useless. As technology advanced, Britain's geographic strength became weaker. Meanwhile, America, with its 2 huge oceans and vast fertile land, rose and took the crown of superpower from Britain. Now finally come to Africa, which is full of minerals, fertile land, and natural resources. By resources, Africa should have been the world's superpower. But geography became a curse for Africa. Most of Africa's large rivers fall sharply as they reach the coast. This sudden fall creates waterfalls which stop boats from traveling between the interior of Africa and the sea. The Congo River is the biggest example. It is very long, but no boat can go from Central Africa to the ocean because near the coast there are such waterfalls. Africa's coastline is also very smooth. A smooth coastline looks beautiful on the map, but is very bad for building ports. Europe and North America have jagged coasts with natural harbors that protect ships from storms. Africa does not have this luxury, and as a result, building ports becomes very difficult and extremely expensive. Without easy ports and navigable rivers, Africa has struggled to build a strong economy. Without shipping, global trade remained limited, and without global trade, development was almost impossible. So when you look at the world through the lens of geography, everything becomes clear. Everything comes down to 3 simple questions. These questions decide the fate of any country. First question, can you feed your people? Second, can you defend your land? Third, can you trade with the world? If the answer to all 3 is yes, then that country will progress. If even one answer is no, then that country will always struggle. America today is the only country that can answer all three without hesitation with yes. It has the world's most productive land, which feeds its people. It has two big oceans which work as huge shields against enemy armies. In the east, the Atlantic Ocean keeps America almost 7,000 kilometers away from Europe, and in the west, the Pacific Ocean keeps America and Asia more than 10,000 kilometers apart, which is very difficult for any army to cross. And lastly, America has deep water ports and open access to both Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, which let it trade with every big region of the world. But this does not mean geography controls everything. Politics, technology, culture, and economy also matter. But geography decides the starting point. It decides advantages and disadvantages. It decides how easy or how difficult the entire game of progress will be. When people ask why Africa is so poor, why China is so aggressive, or is America going to fall, they often miss the most obvious thing. Geography itself decides your fate. The seas, mountains, rivers, plains, and ports silently write the story of the rise and downfall of countries. Geography changes very little, so the advantages a country gets last for centuries. What changes is how well its leaders use those advantages. If you like the video, then share it with others and subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself.